Wow. That was a lot. What's up, everyone? It's Ollie, and I'm back with another review. Well, actually, this is my first review of the Bad Girls Club, if that's what we're still calling it, but that's probably copyright, on The Conversation on the Zeus Network. Oh, before I get into this, you should probably like and subscribe. You don't have to share this. It's a little weird. But if you do that, I can continue making more content for you guys for this channel that I would love to continuously work on in quarantine, because life sucks right now for all of us. Like I said, if your first time here, I'm Ollie Drennan. I used to do Bad Girls Club reviews all the time when I was back in college and didn't have any friends. But I found you guys and we got to talk about this trashy reality television show that we all love, and it's finally resurfacing on OnlyFans and on the Zeus Network. So if you're not familiar, the Bad Girls Club are on The Conversation. So what's The Conversation? Apparently, I'm still new to The Conversation as well as the Zeus Network, but The Conversation is an opportunity for two people, that's the keyword, two people, to talk and hash their differences, their problems, their issues out on the Zeus Network, on this format, one-on-one, no host, no mediator, no rules, essentially. And I think it actually works out great with two people when there's six opinionated bad girls talking over one another, not letting each other speak. Half of them are high, the rest are drunk, and get a little messy. And that's what this part 1 and part 2 was. Messy. And yet, for some reason, I was still here for it. Obviously, what we've been wanting for years, the Bad Girls Club fandom, we've always wanted a comeback, a reboot, and that's what I feel like this is the closest we got. The girls have tried to get it on OnlyFans, their episodes pop in. I don't know, can someone fill me in on that? I don't think it's happening. Like, I don't think the OnlyFans is worth it still, in my opinion. I think what is worth it, if you want to actually watch this, it's only $3.99 to subscribe for 1 month. That's super cheap in my honest opinion. Some people still don't want to pay that. They kind of just want to see the fights. But I like to see kind of more than just the fights. I want to see the content. I want to see, regardless if it's scripted. Keep that in mind. So much reality television is scripted these days. So I feel like 75% of this is scripted. So as you know, we have 6 bad girls on The Conversation. We have Natalie, Christina, Shannon, Rocky, Sarah, and Jada. I really feel like only 3 girls were relevant in this entire special. The other half was just kind of there. I didn't know what they had to talk about. I guess to break this down and review this and give my kind of honest opinions on this, I guess I'm gonna go by girl, because like I said, this was a very messy show with so much talking over. Like, honestly, I feel like 80% of this was talking over one another and not actually having conversation with one another and letting each other speak. So I feel like for these bad girls, they needed a host. They needed a mediator. They needed, dare I say, Perez Hilton. No, that's too far. That's way too far. No. I would have loved to have Tanisha. I would have loved to have, hell, give us Ray J, Princess Love, someone. Give us just someone to... Before I get into each one of the girls, I feel like The Conversation, going into it, if you don't know all of the past drama with the OnlyFans and with the twins, with Erica, with Tanisha and whatnot, you're gonna be a little bit like, you're not gonna know really what's going on. You're gonna be a little confused. And I feel like if you wanna make this conversation a little bit more palatable for people who don't know like the full tea of these stars, you let the viewers know in the beginning, give a little bit more tidbits, a little bit more information regarding all what led up to the conversation, all the drama. But I feel like they didn't do it for these bad girls, because we already know, if you do know, there's a lot of hot piping tea that, you know, these girls basically kind of like left the twins stranded. They let the twins, they really did the twins dirty, basically. That is old news, and I feel like they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want this cast of 6 girls to look even worse than, you know, than they already did. Not a whole lot happened in part 1. It was kind of the girls coming in, getting ready, So I guess this is just going to be a blend of everything, of all parts 1 and 2. So let me get into each and every single one of the girls. Starting with the girls that I felt like didn't bring a whole lot to the conversation because they literally didn't need to be there. No disrespect to anyone in this cast when I say that, but it's literally like they didn't have anything to bring to the table, to the conversation. They were just kind of like set pieces, and that's my honest opinion. So start off with Shannon. Now, I loved Shamrock on the original season of BGC 10 Atlanta. To me, that's honestly my personal favorite of Bad Girls Club. Also, Shannon, I like the outfit, but girl, you look like you were taking the kids to Disneyland. It looked good, but I feel like, girl, like she was going for comfort, for practicality. She didn't care about the cosmetics at all. Also, Shannon was stoned. She was high. She was drunk. She was a mood. She was definitely the comic relief of this situation. I almost called it the situation of the conversation. So, okay, she did have a little bit of purpose of having that comic relief within this show. But other than that, she didn't have anything to bring other than kind of like being like a punching bag for Natalie when Natalie stood up to her because she kept touching Natalie. And then she touched Natalie's chair, and that set Natalie off for some freaking reason. I don't know why Natalie got so mad about Shannon touching her chair. It was pretty comical. It's pretty comical. And also to go after Shannon of all the girls. And I'm like, Shannon, you're really gonna let her like yell at you like that with her stank ass breath? Shannon, no. Give her the Reunion 10 special. Give her the Reunion 10 special. That's what I kind of wanted, but I knew she wasn't going to do that. Also, shout out to Shannon. She's a mom. Also, Natalie's a mom. Also, Rocky's a mom. So half of these girls are moms now. That's great. More power to them. And I have to say, I feel like a lot of these girls, if they want this to work, if they want this BGC reboot to really work and get the fans fully invested, they need some producers. They need help. They need producers. This is off topic, I'm sorry. They need help outside. This OnlyFans, it's not really working. Apparently they're making money. Okay, so that's good. But I feel like if they want to do an actual show, they need producers to help them. But I understand them being a little bit jaded in the entertainment business regarding reality television. They don't want executives. They don't want people above them. They want to be in full control. But as you're seeing in this show, if this is at all real, it's not working. They're fighting. Like Sarah and Natalie going back and forth. They're not coming to an agreement. Like they need structure. Kind of like this conversation needs a little bit more structure. So that's just my honest opinion. I don't see it happening in the future. But they just need some producers to help create some storylines to get this a little bit more concise. But I get it. These girls are jaded. You know, Oxygen, Buena Murray, whoever it was, like they kind of like they thought these girls really did think that they were gonna become huge after Bad Girls Club. And some of them have been very successful, like the Claremont twins, even though one of them went to jail. But anyway, I understand them. They want their bag, as Rocky said 5,000 times in this special. Also, make that a drinking game. Every time a girl says bag, drink. Every time someone stands up from their chair, drink. Every time someone talks over one another or yells over one another, drink. So enough about Shannon. Let's talk about another girl that was kind of like, meh. Christina. Christina was more mouthy in part 1. She was going after Jada because I guess her and Jada had this falling out. They got close, but then they had a falling out for some reason. Some kind of disagreements. Jada was telling Christina that, oh, Natalie told me to fight you. So, okay. Which I kind of believe because, one, that's the ratings. We want the fights. We want to see Jada. And I feel like Jada's down, to be perfectly honest. I don't think Christina is. But Christina seemed a little awkward watching this. I've said this before. She's not as like seasoned as the rest of the girls who have done a lot of reality television. Christina did 1 season of Bad Girls Club and never did any other spin-offs, and I don't think she's done any other reality television ever, and she hasn't needed to. She doesn't really need to. She's a talented singer. she just kind of like never did anything else with the rest of the bad girls, yet she's definitely solidified herself as like a huge name in the fandom because of like what she did on the season and how she kind of she stood up to the girls, you know, because of her lack of experience with reality television in comparison to the rest of the cast. She just looks really awkward, and when she's trying, she's not a good actor. She's not a good actor in comparison to the rest of the girls, or she just doesn't seem comfortable. And also, it's a little disappointing that she is basically Natalie's like attack dog. She just kind of like her like go. I don't know. She just seems like she's her minion. I don't know, Jersey. Rocky, to me, like Rocky's a team player. She was another girl that I felt like didn't do a whole lot in this. She not probably more than Christina and Shannon, but she's definitely someone who kind of is good with everyone in the house. It seems like in the group, she really is a team player, and she wants everyone to kind of like squash their stuff regardless of what happens. We gotta get the bag. The bag. Also, she was kind of more comic relief too. She was more laid back in this, you know. She wasn't really trying to fight with anyone. She really wanted to hash things out. So shout out to Rocky for trying to be that person in the group, even though it didn't really work. But she really just wants everyone to, regardless of their differences, be bosses and get the money, get the goddamn bag. I'm so sick of that freaking word after this special. You know, she understands Natalie. She understands she's buddy with Shamrock forever. She made up with Sarah. Her and Jada are cool, and I'm pretty sure her and whatever her name is, Christina, are cool too. So she really is trying to be the glue in the group to get everyone where they need to be, even though it wasn't successful. Also, Rocky looks great. She looks great. Like, she really does. I mean, no matter what, I think they all look great. They really do. Some look better than the others. So, going on to the girls that were more vocal or had more of a purpose as the show went on. So, starting first with Sarah. Sarah and Natalie. Sarah wasn't a whole lot in part 1, but part 2, her and Natalie got into it, and it was getting dirt. Also, Sarah kind of squashed more beef with Rocky on screen in part 1, I think. So that was cool, especially for like diehard BGC fans. I'm sure they loved seeing that. But Sarah and Natalie got into it about other stuff, not even about this whole OnlyFans thing. They got like back in the day about Sarah's past. Sarah said Natalie was pimping her out. She stopped being Natalie's friend at one point. Natalie was doing this, that, third. Natalie's brother hooked up with Sarah. Sarah had given BJs or something. Like, basically all of this dirt that, like, was like, oh my, airing out dirty laundry. Like, this is wild. But also, I think at one point someone called Natalie out about, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, being a heroin addict or something like that. And then Natalie got all butthurt. But then I'm like, Natalie, that's like, what's the whole Natalie, you gotta be able to take it if you're gonna dish it. So you're saying like, oh, someone's calling you heroin, bringing up heroin, when you're apparently throwing all this mess, all of Sarah's dirty laundry out. So thinking back, I'm like, girl. Anyways, back to Sarah. Sarah was kind of a boss in this. I mean, she was getting talked over, but she brought out the receipts, literally. She brought out like a binder of like a schedule of Post-it notes, scheduling. To me, Sarah has always been who's a great representation of like one of the bad girls who actually care about the fans, actually care about creating great content, actually has always been like that. Like in the past, she was always on A Connection TV with Wes and Simone. She was always interacting with fans, like, since day one. She was really into just kind of the fandom and the series. Like, she really was trying to, do something with this, I feel like. She always gave that to me, at least and I was always a fan of Sarah. So to me, I really do believe Sarah about trying to make this this production as best as it could be. So I just wanted her to not be talked over by Natalie. Like, Natalie was literally repeating herself. And I feel like Natalie almost was talking not to Sarah, but like at Sarah. She was talking to herself, for crying out loud, Natalie. And I really thought Sarah and Natalie were gonna fight, but they didn't. Nope, that was someone else. That was someone else. So I don't even know who to talk to next. We'll save Natalie for last. Let's go to Jada. So Jada she was trying to put on a show, okay? But before I go on, I feel like these girls, like I said, they are experienced with reality television. So I'm thinking, you girls, if you're experienced with this and this is supposed to be scripted, you're acting more for the camera. Okay, I get it. Why are you guys talking over each other? You guys need to let each other speak if this is scripted. You know, it almost reads as it's not scripted because they're constantly talking over one another. They're repeating themselves. Like, it just, basically they're almost not even making valid points. They just want to be louder than the other. So Jada was really irking me in this, especially in part 1. She was talking over everyone, and I was like, or she just wanted to shut up and let someone else speak. I'm like, Jada, this isn't your turn to speak. Let someone else speak. There are 5 other girls. So she was annoying that. But I do appreciate the fact that she was trying to put on a show. Okay? I feel like I did get that from Jada. She just needed to kind of like know when to speak and when not to speak. Okay? Because sometimes some of these girls along with Jada would just kind of like say things under their breath. Honestly, everyone kind of did that, and that was really annoying. So, and also a shout out for Jada for being the one taking the bullet standing up to Natalie, because someone had to stand up to Natalie. I mean, Sarah was trying her best, but really wasn't getting the point across until the fight happened with Natalie. Let's see. I don't have anything else to say about Jada other than her fight with Natalie, but we'll just move on to Natalie and talk about the fight. So Natalie, you don't have to like Natalie, but you have to give it to Natalie for really being the kind of star that she is in reality television. She's going to put on a great show. She's going to play a great evil character and an antagonist. She's usually going to know when to kind of like turn it on, turn it off. She's the most season 1 out of everyone. She's done other things other than Bad Girls Club. She's done like Bridezilla. She's done Big Brother. Pretty sure she's done even more than that. But I was a little confused. I was like, Natalie was also speaking over the girls. I'm like, Natalie, you know how reality television works. I just feel like these girls are being very unprofessional in terms of letting one another speak. You're gonna argue, yes. We're gonna yell, yes. But you need to allow it's like an acting scene. You're not gonna the characters aren't gonna talk over one another. So I just was really annoyed in that aspect because there was just so much yelling.
You gotta do something, bitch. You live here. You live here. She's upstairs talking about where's Sarah makeup? My team? My people? Sarah did that.
Andresa did my makeup. None of your makeup people touch me. I use makeup.
You were up there saying.
She paid.
You were up there saying.
I'm just like looking at my eyes. Oh yeah, she did say something about like how this is beneath me, this, that, the third. Maybe this was just one of her lines she wrote. I've dealt with better people than this, than like Amber Rose. I'm like, Natalie, this was like your idea. So this was her idea. She went to Tanisha first. Sarah thought it was her that she went to first, but it wasn't. It was Tanisha. Tanisha said no or something like that. I don't know whether or not to believe Tanisha. Things got messy with the twins. Of course, they didn't talk about it on the show because they don't want to look even more worse than they did. I get it. And then, of course, there's going back to Sarah. So Natalie and Sarah kind of got into it a lot in the part 2. And Sarah was talking about how she wanted to get paid more, that her and Natalie deserved more money, basically. And a part of me agrees, because yes, this was Natalie's idea. And yes, Sarah was doing a lot of work and putting up money. And I think Shannon was too. She actually reimbursed like Natalie and Shannon. But Natalie got so mad and kept repeating herself. They spent like 10 minutes repeating themselves. You thought you paid me. You thought you paid me. Like, it was ridiculous. I'm like, okay, can we move on? Can we just squash that particular topic? Because it is like beating a dead horse. So I kind of agree with the fact that maybe Sarah and Natalie should have been paid more, but all in all, they came to, I guess, an agreement that everyone gets the same amount of money out of the 6 of them. I mean, I don't really care, but that was like a huge thing that they spent so long yelling about. Like I said, she gets up in Shannon's face because she's mad that Shannon touched her chair, which I still don't get. She gets up with Sarah's face, and then this one queen up in the balcony, up the 2nd floor, starts yelling. I'm like, who is this fool? I don't know her. Like, can someone explain that whole thing? And that was in part 1 when they were like, all of them was like, I guess he was like a hairstylist or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But I digress. If someone can fill me in, I would really appreciate that. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. The only thing that really mattered in this whole thing, according to everyone, was the fight between Natalie and Jada. I had to watch it a few times because it looked, when they first fought, security swarmed in, by the way. So Natalie looked like she threw like Jada's head into like the steel counter, but watching it back, it was kind of like Jada threw her arm. Jada slipped on her damn dress first and foremost, and then like threw her arm down on the counter, which created like a huge sound effect. It was like, damn, that sounded like painful, but it was really just her arm kind of like slamming down on the damn counter. And then she scalps Natalie's wig off. And I thought that was hilarious. It really wasn't as intense as everyone thought it was. It was kind of crazy to see Jada throw her wig into the pool, and then freaking Natalie had... Shout out to Natalie. She put that wet ass wig back on. Okay, she didn't care. She did not care. And that is good hair. It's good hair. Jada was still shocked at how big her forehead was, but I'm also just like, well, damn, it's not. You see her chin? Of course you're gonna have a big ass forehead. And it kind of winds down from there. Basically, there really wasn't a whole lot. They kind of had like 10 minutes left after the fight happened, and then Natalie went up. She was kind of done with it. I'm like, Natalie, like, there really was no conversation. It was a mess. It was kind of like a hellation. It was just, there was nothing was resolved. No issues, no conflicts were found a resolution. It was very sad, but also very messy. And for some reason, I just couldn't look away from my screen the entire time. Did I miss anything? Someone help me out. I don't know. Discuss in the comments for sure. There's just a lot. There really was a lot. And I'm still processing what's real, what's fact, and what's fiction. You know? That's what I want to know. But the future looks bright. I will like to see, hopefully, Natalie and Tanisha potentially do the conversation. I think that'd be much better than this. That'd be much better. I want that so bad. I want that so bad. I know Jada's no longer a part of this now all of a sudden, so I'm like, I can't keep up with this. There's just too much. But like I said, tell me what you think. What did I miss? Anything I missed? There's just a lot, like I said. Oh my goodness. But you know where to find me. Here. Yeah, whatever. Love you. Have a great night. Watch it for yourself if you haven't. And let me know what you thought. I love you guys. Be safe. Wear your goddamn mask. And wash your hands.